Irhex. Tell me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. First of all, I'm going to make an offer to you. Send me a message. Tell me the software to get. Tell me the name that you use on that software, and I will get any instant messaging service that you name. And I'll talk to you one-to-one for as long as it takes. As long as you want. I need to be able to approach points that you raise as you make them, so that we can be satisfied that it is dealt with, and then we can move on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and just take them one at a time. YouTube is no good in some senses, because I can convince you on one point, but you will simply move away, read the Qur'an, go to the mosque, and like a piece of wood floating out to sea, what you had learned is lost. Part of the problem with science and trying to teach people who don't know very much about science is that it's so vast. You're taking your cues about the world from one book, and there is so much known. You cannot imagine how much is known. I was surprised myself the further I got into it. I wondered about all manner of things, wondering if they were known, and I found out that not only were they known, but the explanation was totally in depth and totally beautiful. There are very, very few gaps in our knowledge, and it's fun. I was amazed myself, but it's fun to find this stuff out. There's the most. You talk about beauty. Science will give you more beauty than you can handle, and it will never end. There's always something new to find out, always something new to read. It's enriched my life in a way that I didn't think was possible. I think you said, do atheists have no hope? Well, yeah, we do, otherwise I wouldn't be talking to you. And so obviously I've got too much hope, because everyone else will think I'm wasting my time, and I think there's a good chance I'm wasting my time, but because I've got so much hope, I'm prepared to continue. Some people have made comments on your video saying that they're not scientists and they don't pretend to be scientists. Great comment, you might think. Well, science means knowledge. So when someone says they're not a scientist, or that they're not even scientific, what you're actually hearing is someone saying they don't know very much. If life was an exam, you would not talk to people who don't know very much. You would try to find people who know something. So it's an exam. The whole of life is an exam. The reason this point in your life is so important is because you're like a sponge at your age. You can absorb vast amounts of information. At the moment, your sponge is soaking up things which are not true. Now, there's probably 1,000 reasons why you're doing this, but I want you to cast your mind back. Cast your mind back to the day that you found Islam, or probably, more likely, Islam found you. I want you to think about that day very closely. I can't know anything about that day. I can't know anything about you. But I am willing to bet that you were not having a good day. I'm willing to bet that you weren't a happy person up to that point. I'm willing to bet that you were quite lonely. How can I say these things? It's because religion never finds people who have a good social life and are having a good time in their lives. Now, I know I'm right. You might think, how arrogant, how can he possibly know that? It's simple. It cannot get to you if you're having a good time and you've got a good circle of friends. It only gets to people who are having a rotten time and who are, in some sense, lonely. Your life wasn't going to be lonely and as bad as it was. You've barely begun. When you get a little money in your pocket, all kinds of choices are yours. You slowly find friends from the strangest of places. Good friends who will stay with you through life. You haven't got that at the moment. You think you have. You've got a social circle. You've got support from all the YouTube Muslims. But this is because they simply want someone else in their crowd. A friend should be a friend because they like you and because they enjoy your company. That's what a friend is. Anything that doesn't behave like that isn't a friend, and it's not really worth having. So I'm still begging, perhaps not as desperately as I was last night, because it was so upsetting encountering some of the things that you were claiming to be true. Nature is far more wonderful than you think. The more you learn, the more wonderful it is. I have a case in point just here. This little ring on my finger. Sometimes I'll just sit and I'll look at this ring on my finger and I'll think that there's a diamond in it. And when I brush my finger across the top of it, I don't actually touch the diamond. No one ever touches a diamond. Not every Muslim could tell you that. The reason you don't ever touch a diamond is because a diamond is made of carbon, and the outer bonds of carbon stick to one atom of hydrogen. So whenever you touch a diamond, all you're touching is the outer layer of hydrogen. That's one interesting thing. The other thing is gold. Gold can only be made in one place. There's only one place in the universe, indeed only one time in one place in the universe, that can actually make gold. It's when a star explodes. Up until that point, a star can only make metals as heavy as iron. After that, it cannot fuse any further elements together. But when the star explodes, there's a kind of an implosion of energy towards the center of the star, and that extra energy of that implosion makes all the heavier elements than iron, including gold. I only mention that to try and give you an indication of the depth that scientific knowledge can bring to life. You will be prevented later in life from looking at science in an open-minded way. It will just happen. Your mind will fill up. You won't have space for anything else. Plus, religion will prevent you from absorbing a lot of factual knowledge which otherwise would have brought an endless pleasure into your life. Don't let it happen. I know that I'm asking you to have superhuman willpower in your situation to break free. I'm asking you to be something more than human. It's an impossible ask. It's something I shouldn't do. But at the end of it, if you could do it, you would feel like a superhero. You would look back and you would understand why what you're going through at the moment is a kind of madness. Try.